Hey guys, it's Tommy, and yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot to make a video earlier this week. That's my fault. Please don't hate on me now, because I forgot to make a video earlier this week. But, good news for you guys. Today was my last day of school, so that means I will have a lot more time to make videos, because summer vacation is officially started. So, due to summer vacation officially starting, I'm going to start off this with a very not school-related video, but still somehow school-related video. And the one thing that's still school-related, but you're not in school, that we all know and love, called field trips. So, recently, a little bit, maybe like 2 weeks ago, our entire grade went on a field trip to Hershey Park. And if somehow you don't know what Hershey Park is, which is probably everyone who doesn't live in the United States, you know those chocolate bars, or anyone who doesn't live in the state, do you know those chocolate bars called Hershey's, and they're like, in their brown wrapper, and they taste really nice? Well, they have a theme park, yeah, in the home city of where those chocolate bars were made. There is a theme park, which sounds really bad, except it's great. But anyway, I'm here to tell you guys about my wonderful experience at said park for the field trip. But to start off, we have to start off with how I got there. So, to get to the park, we couldn't use school buses. It was too far away. It was like an hour and a half, and you can't make school buses go away for an hour and a half. Also, we were staying there until 5, and well, they would need to go back, pick up students, come back. It would have been a mess. So the school bought super duper nice buses for us with like really comfy seats and TVs, although the TVs didn't work, or we couldn't figure out how to get the TVs to work. And yeah, it was all pretty good, and it seems like it's going to be great. But the thing is, with the rides, our seats were already picked out, and I guess they thought I was the expendable type, because most of the time they sat people by people they've known to be friends with, but they sat me by the one guy that nobody is friends with. And I tried to be friends with them before, but they're just so, like, there's no way that, like, it's hard to be friends with this person. I'm just gonna put it that way. But I had to deal with him for like an hour and a half trying to go up, and not only that, but the air conditioning wasn't working, and that was so bad, because we're going up here. It's like freaking hot. Like, it is, like, everyone's sweating, everyone's annoyed because it's getting like really hot in the bus. It got to the point where we stopped at a gas station for 20 minutes to let the bus air out, and for everyone to actually feel cool air, because it was colder outside than it was in the bus. So, but anyway, after that, we went to Hershey. We got there, it was all fine. We didn't die or anything. But the thing is, we all had to go in groups of at least 2. So I'm like, alright, I'm going to go. Well, I didn't talk to these people, but I bet I could join their group and they would be fine. But thing is, they weren't around. They came way before we did because their air conditioning wasn't broken. So I'm like, well, crap. They were on a different bus, by the way. But I'm just like, well, crap. I don't know who to go with now. But so my friend Anthony, he's been in a couple of my videos, my older videos. But he was like, well, I'm like, hey, can I go with you since my group already got here? And he's like, yeah, sure. I'm going to go find my group that I was planning on being with. You can hang out with us. So I did. I hung out with them for that until, well, it was planned for me to go until I find my other group. But then eventually I noticed who was actually in the group, and I realized their group seemed to be a lot better than mine, because they were all really cool people, and I'm like, oh, well, you know what, I know most of these people. This seems cool, and Anthony is pretty cool, I'll go here. But, so, again, yeah, it was pretty good, actually. I really enjoyed doing it. Or going in their group, although there was a couple of things that I didn't like about, which I'll get into next. But before that, I'm going to start off. So we find Anthony's group, okay? And they're going on the Tilt-A-Whirl. And in case you guys didn't know this, in case you guys didn't know, I have been known for having motion sickness. And motion sickness is like and motion sickness and tilt-a-whirls don't mix. So I go on, but I'm like, you know what? I don't care about motion sickness. I'm gonna go on tilt-a-whirl anyway because everyone else is going on here. So I go on the tilt-a-whirl and I come off and I didn't feel sick. I felt so happy with myself right now. I'm like, I have just conquered my worst enemy at theme parks. I'm unstoppable right now. So we go here, and this tilt-a-whirl, you know, I was perfectly fine. So then we finally get to a roller coaster. We get to this little roller coaster called the Comet. It was just this white wooden roller coaster. It was pretty modest. Like, it was fun. I admit it was fun, but it was a good roller coaster to start out with because it really just went up and down, raised you out of your seat a little bit, but you could tell it was kind of old. So we're like, all right. Well, some of us were hungry, so we're like, all right, well, let's all go for lunch. So we all go for lunch, and we all eat mildly small meals because we're going on rides. So we eat food, and then we go onto this other roller coaster that was nearby the place where we're eating, called the Super Duper Looper. And I already heard about this roller coaster because I heard this was the first ever roller coaster to have a loop, or one of the first ones to have a loop. And so I'm like, alright, this is going to be pretty modest. There's probably not going to be that many loops. So I'm going in, and I'm like, yep, there was just one loop right in the beginning, and it was mostly like side turns and crap. And my friends, of course, not expecting it to be so lame, were like, it's kind of a lame roller coaster for the name. And I'm like, yeah, I agree, but I knew it was going to be mediocre coming in. But after that, some of our group members didn't even go on the roller coaster because they're chickens that don't go on roller coasters. So they didn't go on. Anthony didn't go on roller coasters either, but he had like this weird thing. He said it was something like his diaphragm or something gets all cold on rides. I have no idea what he's talking about, but I'm like, okay, whatever, you don't need to go on many rides. So we go, we got off the ride, and then we went on to like those swings, like the swings where, you know, they're like kind of like a carousel, but it's not a carousel. It's like, well, with swings, it's pretty much carousel with swings. So we went on one of those, and so I was wearing my Dipper Pines hat also, by the way. This is important for the story later. So, you know, I'm having fun on this ride because I actually kind of enjoy swing rides. And then I just hear this guy behind me saying, hey, kid in the blue hat. I'm like, yeah? He's like, your phone just fell out of your pocket. And I'm just like, crap, my phone just fell out of my pocket. And I look down, I see my phone on the ground. Like, we had to at least be 25 feet up in the air. And my phone was there on the ground. I'm like, oh, please tell me it's okay. The ride comes down after it's done. I go over to my phone. My phone screen wasn't even cracked. My case is that awesome. So my case was a very worthy purchase, and I'm very happy I have a phone case like that. So I'm not even afraid. I bet I could draw my phone off the Empire State Building. It wouldn't even crack. So anyway, after that, and I came over the feeling of how awesome my phone case is, we go over to this other roller coaster called the Great Bear, which is probably my favorite ride there now out of the ones I went to. And, well, we went there. I was with the one other thrill seeker in our group. Like, no one else wanted to go on crazy roller coasters except me and her. So we go on to this, and onto the Great Bear, and they're like, hey, is there any groups of two? And I'm like, yeah, there's one group of two here. And they're like, all right, you guys get the front. I'm like, whoa. I never get the front of roller coasters, but there was only two people up in the front, so that meant that there could be two more up in the front, and we got the two middle seats. So I'm like, this is perfect. I'm like, this is awesome. So we go up on this roller coaster. It's a lot of fun. It's one of those roller coasters where your seat is below the actual, like, rails. Like, you know, I think you might know what I'm talking about. But we go on that, and I come off of this thing, and I have a massive headache. Like, it is pretty bad. Like, I'm just like, ooh, this is almost not worth it. But it was definitely worth it. But after we got on the Great Bear, we decided to go towards the water park. So we went on to, but while we were on our way to the water park, we went to one of those ship rides that go side to side and practically go 90 degrees. And that was the one ride Anthony went on with me. So I'm sitting next to Anthony on this ride. We take the, like, close to the end of the ship. Like, we go to the bow of the ship. Or, no, it was the stern. We go to the stern of the ship. I hope you know your ship turns. That's the back of the ship, actually. But we go to the stern of the ship, and we go up, and we realize it was kind of a wimpy one. It didn't really go that high. It just it went maybe like 90 degrees, but it didn't go more than that, which is kind of wimpy for those rides. I've seen some of them where they go like 100 degrees, but I'm like, well, okay, that's fine. I'll deal with it. So we get to the water park, and Anthony can't go on the water park for some reason because other stuff. So he's like, you know, I'm gonna let's see if we can find this arcade over here. And I'm like, oh, okay, it wasn't that far around, so I'm gonna go and help you find this arcade. So we go out, we go looking for this arcade, alright, and we miss the arcade. We do a complete circle around the park from where we were before, go to every single spot until we find the arcade. And it was so funny, because we just go practically a giant circle around the park. Anyway, we find the arcade, you know, we hang out a little bit. We didn't do anything in the arcade, like play games or stuff, but we hung out pretty much for the rest of it. And also, this is where we leave our group, by the way. And anyway, there was this other roller coaster called it's called Sky Rush, and it's this big yellow roller coaster that looks like so much fun. Like, this is one of those, like, this is the big attraction of the roller coaster. And I go over to it, and I'm like, oh, the line's actually kind of small. But then I remember Anthony's not the thrill-seeking guy, or didn't feel like going on it because of diaphragm stuff or whatever. And my thrill seeker we left behind, so we didn't get to go on. So I didn't go on the roller coaster because I didn't feel like going on it alone, because they always place you with a random person then. So I'm just like, well, crap. I wanted to go on this ride and I can't. So that was very annoying, and I really hate that I did that. That I abandoned them because of that. But eventually I got over it. And we went around, met up with another person that was from our group who also left them, and we hung out with them for the rest of the trip. But then what ended up happening was Anthony needed to go over the Chocolate World for something, which Chocolate World's outside the park, which didn't really matter, but we were leaving at like 5:30, it was like 5:16, so I'm like, alright, I don't care, let's go. So we go out there, we walk out the park from the other side of the entrance, and we go for him to get a Gatorade, because but like it was just like a Gatorade, and I'm like, we could have just bought a Gatorade for you if this was gonna help with this problem here. And I'm like, well, I don't care. We can go to the gift shop for the meanwhile. But we stick at Chocolate World for so long, we need to get on the bus again by the time we're there. So I'm like, well, okay, we gotta go back on the bus now. So much for buying merchandise. So I didn't buy anything from Hershey Park, but I did it. I had fun. I say it was pretty worth it. And you know what? I'm totally going to go there again, because I actually really enjoyed the theme park, and I completely recommend it. Like, if you guys live by Hershey Park and you've never been there before, go there. It's great. It's totally worth it. So anyway, I hope you guys apologize for the video. There's no live stream today. I'm actually going to change my live streaming dates, because I noticed I almost never seem to be available Friday nights for live streams. So instead, I'm going to make them Thursday nights, because I always seem to be available Thursday nights. So Thursday night live streams will now happen, because I can't do Friday ones all the time. So that's going to happen, so keep in mind that my live streams will now be on Thursday, not Friday. And I hope you like this video of me talking about Hershey, or Hershey Park. And also have a good summer, since for me it was the last day of school, and it's probably going to eventually be the last day of school for you, or already is. And if you guys graduated, good for you. You've definitely reached a higher position in life than I have, because I'm just starting high school after this. Actually, I'm in 8th, well, I was an 8th grader, now I'm technically a 9th grader, because I left 8th grade, but I think you can get what I mean. But anyway, I hope you like this video, subscribe for more, and goodbye. Bye.